For example, I have a class like this. I have some class like this XYZ. I have a variable like this, or I can have any number of variables. So now I want to give value to this variable, or I want to initialize this variable. So one way is I can directly give the value. One way is I can directly initialize the value to a class variable. So now I can do this, but what happens is for this XYZ class, I can create any number of objects, S1, S2, S3. For all the objects, the A value will be same. I cannot store different values for different objects. So that's why we don't prefer this way of initializing the class variables or class data members. So this way of initializing class data members is not efficient. See, for each and every object, I have the same value. So that's why what we do is we go for another mechanism for initializing the data members of a class. For that, we use a special method called as constructor. What is it? So the main purpose is initialize objects. We'll call it as objects or data members of a class. What is the main purpose of this one? To initialize the data members of a class, we use it. But first of all, the question is, what is it? It is a special method. It is a special method. The word special is very important. Why it is special, we are going to see in few minutes. So now, what is constructor is? Constructor is a special method used to initialize the objects or data members of a class. The class data members you want to initialize, then you are going to use a special method called as constructor. So now you can define constructor, but you need to follow some rules. Rules for constructors. The first and foremost rule is constructor name must be same as class name. Must be same as class name. If I have a class something XYZ, my constructor name is also XYZ. So the constructor name and class name must be same. Both must be same. So the second one. So constructor should not have any return type. Constructor should not have any return type, not even void. You should not give void also. Normally, what is that you are doing for any method? If it is returning something, we specify that particular as the return type. If the function is, if the method is returning a integer value, we specify the return type as int. If it is returning a character, we specify it as char. If it is returning a string, we are specifying it as a string. If the method is not returning anything, we are specifying it as void. But here, we don't specify any return type. We should not even give it as void. See, why I am discussing about return type is because I said it is a method. Every method is going to have return type, but this is a special method. That's why we are calling it as a special. Every method will have return type. If the method is not returning anything, we will have at least void. But this is the method which does not have any return type, not even void. So that is why it is a special method. So constructor should not have any return type, not even void. So the second one, the third rule is constructor can be public or private, or access specifier is need not be specified. Access specifier is optional. Access specifier is optional. Is that right? So constructor can be public or private. We can give public or private. You may get a doubt why a constructor should be private. See, what is that we said? A private, any member, whatever it is, it can be data variable or it can be a method. If I make it as a private, it cannot be accessed outside of the class. Now, why? What is the need to make constructor as private? We'll discuss in the later classes. After finishing all the types of constructors, at the end, if possible today or tomorrow, we'll discuss about private constructor. So now, these are the three basic rules that you need to follow in order to define a constructor. The very important thing is its name must be same as class name. So it should not return any return type. And the third one is it can be either public or private, or you need not specify access specifier. Access specifier, you need not specify, you can keep it like that. So if you keep it like that, the default access specifier, which is similar to public, will be applicable. Is that fine? Okay, so now we'll see the different types of constructors. Different types of constructors. Types of constructors. Types of constructors. Okay, once you see the example, you can understand. The first one is default constructor. Default constructor. Second one is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. The third one is copy constructor. Copy constructor. First one is default constructor, parameterized constructor, copy constructor. So we'll discuss in detail about these three types of constructors in detail. So first, if we go to default constructor, so default constructor properties, it does not take any parameter. The main property of default constructor is it does not take any parameter. Your default constructor does not take any parameter. So now the syntax is like this. Syntax. So class name. Class name. As we told you, constructor name will be same as class name. That's why I gave it as class name. Since it is a method, you will have the parentheses. And this is the code where you will be initializing the data of the class. You will initialize the data of the class here. So this is the syntax for default constructor. Okay, default constructor. See, till now we have seen few programs by using class and object concept. We have seen in the previous sessions we have seen. So now nowhere we defined a constructor. Then what happens? Till now we did not define any constructor. See, by default your Java compiler will run a default constructor. If you don't define any constructor in your program, your Java compiler will run a default constructor which will initialize to default values. If it is an integer value variable, it will be initialized to 0. If it is other than integer, they will be initialized to null values. So like this, your Java will run automatically a default constructor if you don't define any constructor in your program. Okay, so this is the syntax of your default constructor. It does not take any parameters, means here we don't have any parameters. So this is where we pass parameters. Default constructor will not take any parameters. That is the main property of default constructor. Rest of the three rules will be satisfied by your default constructor. So now we'll see an example of a default constructor. We'll see an example of a default constructor. I'll take a small example. I'll take a simple example. So the class name is sample. The class name is sample. Suppose I have a variable A. So now I want to initialize it. So this is my constructor sample. For A, I am giving a value. Okay. I write some other method here, public void display. The purpose of this method is to display the value. System.out.println A. Okay, so this is my class. Now I'll write my main class. Suppose class main, public static void main, string args, So now I create object for the class sample s1 is equal to new sample. Is that right? S1 dot display. S1 dot display. Okay, see that you join the class before 11:15 itself. Is that right? So now this is the class and this is my default constructor. This is my default constructor. Is that right? So name is same as class name. Access specifier I did not specify. If you want, you can specify. If you want, you can specify. It can be either public or private. So now I've given a value for this because the main purpose of constructor is to give values for this. I'm giving value for this. So this is a method which is displaying the value. So now when constructor will get invoked is whenever I create an object, whenever I do this new sample, the control goes to constructor. Whenever I do this, the control goes to constructor and A will be initialized. It is not A, it is S dot A. So my S dot A is initialized to 10. How it will take S dot A? Because the one which is calling here is S1. Okay, by default it will take this object. So it will go to this. If I do one more thing, sample S2, it will take S2 dot A. Is that right? So now it is S dot A. So now I am calling S dot display. Now it will go to this one. So now S1 is the object which called this. Here it is A. It is not A, nothing but S dot A, which is 10. So output will be 10. Okay. So this is how a constructor is invoked and executed. So default constructor will not take any parameters. It will be initializing the class variables, class data members. And whenever we create an object, automatically the constructor will be invoked. Whenever we create object, the default constructor or any constructor will be invoked. Is it fine? So this is about default constructor. The main property is it does not take any parameters. Okay. So now next we'll see the next type of constructor. We'll see the next type of constructor. So the next type of constructor is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor takes parameters. Okay, it is going to take parameters. Default constructor does not take parameters, but this is going to take parameters. So normally the number of parameters will be equal to the number of variables in the class. Because what is the main purpose of constructor? I want to initialize. So now I have 3 variables in class, then I'll pass 3 parameters to this constructor because I want to initialize the 3. But there is no rule that it should have 3 only. If you don't have 3, you will get error. It is nothing like that. But normally what happens is, since our main purpose of writing constructor is initialize the class variables, normally the number of variables and the number of parameters to the parameterized constructor will be equal. So now the syntax is like this. Class name, here we pass parameters and we initialize here. We initialize the class data variables. The main difference is you got parameters here. You got parameters here. We are passing parameters. Is that right? So this is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor where you are passing parameters to the constructor. So normally the number of parameters and the number of variables in the class will be equal. Okay. So I'll take the same example what we saw previously. Same class sample. Okay. I have a variable int a. Now I write a constructor sample int x. So now I say a is equal to x. Okay. So same method, public void display. Public void display system.out.println a. Okay, now my main class starts here. Class main, public static void main, string, args. So now I create object for the class. Sample S1 is equal to new sample of C. Here only the constructor is called. Here I need to pass the value. I pass some 20. S1 dot display. Okay, here you have to pass parameters because it is a parameterized constructor. The same process when the constructor will be invoked. So this is my parameterized constructor. This is my parameterized constructor. Is that right? So whenever I create the object, control goes to the, so this 20 will be copied here into X. The same value will be copied here. The same object S1 dot A is equal to 20, and this I am going to display. What is the main advantage of this one? I can create one more object. Sample S2 is equal to new sample of 30. For each and every object, I can pass different values. Default constructor, we don't have such facility. If you use default constructor for all the objects, the same value gets stored. If you use parameterized constructor, you can modify the value. So now S2.A will be 30. S2.A will be 30. So this is how you can use different objects and you can pass different values by using parameterized constructor. The process is same. Always, whenever we create an object, the constructor will be invoked. So now afterwards, we call the display method, the corresponding value will be displayed. So this is about parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. The main purpose of parameterized constructor is to pass parameters and initialize the variables in the class. Okay. The last one is, the last constructor is copy constructor. Copy constructor. Okay, as the name states, so it copies the contents of one object into another object. What is that? It copies the contents of one object to another object. So now it takes parameter. It also takes parameter, normally one parameter, or can be multiple also. Normally by default one parameter. It takes parameter, but the parameter is an object. The parameter is an object. Previously the parameters were normal type. Previously what is the type passed? Int X. Now I don't pass the parameter as normal primitive data types. Int, char, float, I don't pass. I'm going to pass an object as a parameter. What happens is, whenever I'm passing an object as a parameter, that object contents will be copied into this. What is that we are saying? Copy the contents of one object into another object. So you can copy the contents of one object into another object only when you have another object. Okay, see the syntax for this. See the syntax. So as usual, class name. Here you will specify the object. So how you will create object? Again, class name, object name. So here you are going to initialize. How to create object of a class? You will give class name, object name. So class name, object name. This is the constructor name. Here you are going to initialize. Here you are going to initialize. So this is how your copy constructor is going to be defined. See, another important point is, see, what is that we are saying? You want to copy from one object to another object. See, if I don't have the contents in another object, how can I copy the contents? So that is why whenever you use copy constructor, you should have at least default constructor or parameterized constructor. See, if something is, if the student sitting before me is writing something only, then I can copy. If he's not writing anything, what I can copy? The same way, if there is another object which is having content in it, that only I can copy into another object. So that is why you should have either default constructor or parameterized constructor to use copy constructor. So copy constructor main purpose is to copy the contents of one object into another object. So first that object should exist. So and that object should contain data in it. So in order to get data into that object, you should use some other constructor, either default or parameterized. Then only I can copy the contents of one object into another object. Then only I can use copy constructor. Is that right? We'll see the same example. See, I told you, you should have either parameterized constructor or or default constructor to copy the contents into copy constructor. So now I define both the things. I'll define all the three constructors in a single program. So see here, class sample, same program. I am not changing anything. So for your convenience sake, for your understanding, I have taken a very simple one, a equal to 10. Okay. So now sample int x, a is equal to x. Now sample, see here, it is copy constructor. Again I write sample. Here I write s1. So my a will be is equal to s1 dot a. My a will be equal to s1 dot a. So public void display. So I display system dot out dot println a. Okay. So this is where I end the method. So now I will write the main method, class, suppose copy demo. I'm giving some name. So public static void main string args. So see here only it's very important. I create one object s1 is equal to new sample of, like this, sample s2 is equal to new sample of, and passing 20, sample s3 is equal to new sample of s2. So now system.out.println by using default constructor. Okay, I'll explain this, don't worry. So I write s1 dot display. Similarly, system.out.println by using parameterized constructor. So s2 dot display. So last one is by using copy constructor. By using copy constructor, s3 dot display. Okay, so now you see here. So this is my default constructor. This is my parameterized constructor, and this is my copy constructor. Copy constructor takes a parameter. The parameter is nothing but an object of the same class. Sample s1 is an object. Now the contents in s1 I am going to copy into this variable a, whichever is invoking this constructor. So suppose if I call using s3, it will be s3 dot a is equal to s1 dot a. Is that right? If you are getting confused, you can make it as simple s dot a. A is equal to s dot a. Since you have used s1, s2, s3 here. Here the variable is different. Here the variable is different. This is because this is one local area and this is one local area. So now displaying we are doing. So now see here. So this is as usual. Whenever I create s1, the constructor will go here. So s1 dot a will be initialized to 10. So now when I do this s2, so what I'm passing value. So which one is matching? this constructor is matching. I'm passing an integer value. Here it is an integer value. So this will be invoked. S2 dot A is equal to what we gave, 20. Now you see here, sample S3 is equal to new sample of S2. Here, very important. See carefully. Here you can pass either S1 or S2, your wish. Now I want to copy the contents of S1 means I have to pass S1. Now I want to copy the contents of S2 means I have to pass S2. You should pass an object. Which object to pass is left to our wish. It is our wish. We can take any object. So whenever you pass an object, the contents of that object will be copied into S3. If I pass S2, S2 contents will be copied into S3. So now I am calling this. So now which one is matching to this one? You are passing an object. Here it is an object. This constructor is matched. So now which object you are calling? S3. So now S3 dot A is equal to which object you are passing? S2. Here S is equal to S2. It will be copied like this. So now what is S2 dot A? 20. This value will be copied here. So now whenever I call S1 dot display, the corresponding value will be displayed, and S2 dot display, the corresponding value will be displayed. S3 dot display will be called. So I'll write the output for your understanding purpose. You can see it. The output is important to understand this program. So the output is like this. By using default constructor, what is that you are going to get? You will get this one. Next, by using parameterized constructor, you will get 20. By using copy constructor, you will get 20 because you are copying S2 into this. If I am copying S1, I'll get 10. So this is the output you are going to get. So this is how you can define multiple constructors in the single class. So copy constructor is used whenever you want to copy the contents of another object into this object. See, if that object exists only, you can copy. So that is why what we are doing is we are using either parameterized or default constructor. One is sufficient, but I have written all the three so that you can be comfortable with all the three constructors in a single program. So this is about copy constructors. These are the three types of constructors. So now the any doubt in this? Okay. So now how to define a constructor as a private constructor? Okay. In the same example I'll take. Directly I'll go with an example. Okay, sample, the same thing. I'll take default itself. You can take any type of constructor. I'm giving a value 10. I will make it as private. I will prefix with the keyword private. So now I'll write the method. Okay, suppose I have my main method here, class, suppose con something, public static void main, string args. If I say sample S1 is equal to new sample of S1 dot. Same way I've written. Everything is same what we have seen previously, but just I added the keyword private. So now will this work means whenever you do this, you will get an error that the constructor is private. You cannot access outside of the class. So this sample constructor can be accessed only within this block. Within this block, because it is a private. A private member can be accessed only within the class. Outside of the class, I'm trying to access in another class. It is not possible. It generates an error. So what is that we do is, here we have to write a method which returns the object, same object. Is that right? Suppose I write refer. I call the method refer. And what is that I'll do is, I'll define an object here. I'll define an object here. By default, I'll make it as null. So now what I do is, S1 is equal to new sample. and in this method I return S1. A little complicated topic, but see here, nothing. What is that I am doing is, whenever I make a constructor as private, I cannot access here. So that's why what I do is I define an object which is going to return object as return type. I'm returning an object as return type. So in order to return that, what is that I'm doing is I define one object here which is initially null. Whenever this method is called, I initialize it with the constructor. See, I am calling this new sample here. Now here it will go to this constructor. Here I cannot do this. So now here, what is that you can do is we cannot call this. We are getting error. So what is that we'll do? We'll call this method. We'll call this method. What is the method? Refer. You can put a new refer. The refer method you can call. Okay. That refer method you can call. If you want, you can make it as a static method so that you can call with class. So I'll call it as sample.refer. Is that right? So now this is how, this is a little bit complicated, nothing much important, but just you know that a constructor can be private. Since you belong to EC department, you need not much worry about this one, that much is not needed. But remember that a constructor can be private. So whenever you have a private constructor, your class cannot access directly that constructor. So what is that we are going to do is through another method, we are going to use that particular constructor. Is that right? So now this is about private constructor. So this is about constructors. Okay. So constructor main purpose is to initialize the object. What is that? Constructor main purpose is to initialize the object. So what is that we say is constructor will construct the object. What is that normally we say is constructor will construct the objects. But there is some concept called a destructor in some languages. Some languages, what is its purpose is to destroy the objects. Constructor will construct the objects. Destructor will destroy the objects. Will destroy the objects. So Java does not have destructor. Java does not have any destructor. Why? Because your Java is going to do automatic garbage collection. At the beginning, when we discussed the features of Java, we said that Java is a robust language. Robust means strongly built. In which areas it is strongly built is? It is strongly built in garbage collection and exception handling. Garbage collection is automatically done by Java. So that is why you don't have any destructor in Java. Java is going to destroy the objects automatically when they are not in use.